about a dozen years ago, started to ask my students to do capstone commentaries of their service learning experiences in class. And I noticed this pattern was asserting itself, which really sort of startled me. Because I didn't, I didn't realize that service learning was having such a powerful impact on our students. It starts with, at the very beginning, they start with a lot of skepticism and anxiety about, what am I doing here? So MH says, I'll admit that when I found out that this course required 17 hours of service learning in order to pass, I sort of felt like it was going to be a burden. I thought to myself, I just started my full-time job. How am I going to make time for this? And another student says, I was first hesitant about going to Palolo because I was unsure about how I would interact with the children. These are the sort of hesitations, the sort of skepticism, the sort of feelings of inadequacy that is very common in the capstone. So skepticism and anxiety. And very soon, this gives way to empathy and a connection with people as soon as they begin to meet them. So HP says, before going to the homeless shelter, I only associated with the middle upper class. I had never met anyone or experienced what I was like to barely survive or worry about where to sleep each night. Therefore, volunteering at the homeless shelter forced me to step out of my comfort zone. I already had a biased opinion about the homeless, that they were lazy and prone to rely on others instead for money instead of themselves. After meeting and befriending some of the homeless that live in the shelter, I have learned these people are no different from me. They have goals and that they want to accomplish in life, and they work hard to achieve it. So we begin, the second part of this journey is a sense of empathy, and then comes this reflection on one's own identity and the privileges that one has, and a sense of humility and thankfulness for these privileges, followed by a sort of consciousness of the community's problems. Wow, these are people who are really experiencing a lot of difficulty just dealing with this system and getting by every day. Followed by this, the anxiety and hesitation begins to give way to a sense that the experience they're having, whether it's a homeless shelter or tutoring children in one of the local schools, is really beneficial to themselves as human beings. Good for the mind, good for the soul, good for the body even. The growing conviction follows that they are making a real contribution. Making a commitment to the community becomes something that is valued in their lives. And finally, for some of them, there's even a notion that they want to be committed to a process of social justice in the society, which I think is very intriguing. So some of the comments that we get, just to follow, JJ's doing the comments of his Japanese students. These are our UH students. VL. Even though we are no longer obligated to volunteer our time at the shelter, my classmates and myself have been helping out, and they have agreed to show up over the summer to continue helping. We have started to appreciate the new bonds of friendship we have forged with the people there. So there's bonds of friendship with people who they never would have associated with before that are emerging in all of this. From WK. This service learning experience was fantastic. I applied what I learned in class and connected it with real life situations. I feel accomplished and happy that I devoted some of my time to tutoring Chinese elders. I am considering going back and tutoring next semester. MN. I strongly believe that if we all do our part, no matter how small it may be, we can have a significant effect on improving the living conditions for people around the world. This is Joey in 420. In conclusion, I find this service learning was one of the best things I participated in my academic career. It opened my eyes to see the world in a different light and helping others from different walks of life to achieve their own personal goals. HP. This experience and lessons will carry on with me throughout my life. Over the past few years, I have been telling myself that I want to give back to my community and help the less fortunate. The sort of altruistic instinct we're now told in these studies that people really have in a real way. But the service program gave me the push that I needed to start helping out others. Now I know what I am capable of, and I know that I can make a difference. Another student. From now on, I have to think how we all can be happy, rather than how I can be happy. Malama. This is HK. I really want to explore other social justice organizations. After reflecting on next step, I've come to the conclusion that it is more charity than social work, social justice work. It's definitely wonderful and necessary, but I'd really like to be part of something that changes the root of the problem, rather than be the one to put a Band-Aid on it. I think homelessness is only going to get worse. Pushing people out of parks is not going to solve any problems. So, I mean, what we're seeing is absolutely delightful to us. We had hoped that this was a process which would educate and transform people, and it's doing exactly that. It's transforming people in terms of who they are, what their goals in life are, their ability to relate and empathize and struggle with other human beings. So, service learning, immoral!
Almost all out of time. I do want to point out that all the speakers that you just listened to are very active in the community themselves. The faculty are out there with their students. They're not just talking about it, and that is an important thing. We as faculty have tremendous outcomes of working with the community ourselves. Research opportunities, but also human connections. We have only a few minutes for questions. If any of you want to comment or ask questions, please feel free.
Maybe just to close, actually, I don't have much to say. I might offer Oli to close. And if I'm not mistaken, the person for whom the Oli was written is in the room, and I love her.
He vai mapuna wa wa he vai ke o na o o kilo hana kau ke ha lani ha he o na pua o a wale na kini